Hi, welcome to this lesson covering file management in our BIM class. This lesson is called F4.2 File Formats, and we will be specifically looking at how to save files in different formats. Not all of the people that you will deal with in the business world have the same applications or even the same version of those applications. So sometimes it's hard for some types of documents and other data to be shared between people in an office or between one office and a client or a supplier. Not everybody has the same type of resources. So it's always good to know how to change the format of a document in case you need to send it to somebody who doesn't necessarily have the same version that you do. So what we're going to do to practice this is if you are in, say, BIM period 1 or whichever period you're in, you're going to go to classwork. And I would encourage you to go ahead and come down to your intro assignments. And the one that we're going to be dealing with today is 4.2, F4.2. And you can go ahead and bring up the directions for that and keep them over here to the side as we're going through. That way you can double check and see where you're at. So what we will do first is open up a new Word document, and I'm going to come down here and click on Word, and I'm going to hit Command N, or just make sure that I have a new one brought up. And coming back to my directions here, the first thing we want to do is save it. So when I'm here, I'm going to hit, and it says here, Shift Command S to save. So Shift Command S, and that brings up this dialog box. And remember, we always want to make sure where our files are going. If you are not consciously picking something besides documents, Word will most of the time default to documents. So you'll need to go back in here and find any that are missing. Later, when we learn to download from Google Classroom to work on documents, you'll see that they automatically end up in downloads, unless you specifically tell it right here where you want to put it. Now for us in this class, this is our second lesson that falls under BIM Intro. So I want to make sure that I'm clicking on BIM Intro, and you see how that destination field changes. That's where I want it to go. Then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to name it what they're asking me to. Here in the directions it says F4.2 Organizing. So I'm going to go F4.2 space Organizing. And then they want me to put a dash and put my last name. This would be your last name. My first initial, that would be your first initial. So now you have a file that's named specifically what you intended it to be named. It's going where it's supposed to go, and then you can hit save. So that gives us a blank but named Word document. And as you look at your directions here, there's just kind of a breakdown of why the assignments are required to be named a certain way. And I had this other Word document here that kind of gave you a breakdown for a file name for F4.2 Organizing. You can tell what it is by the letter. F would be for file folders. W would be for Word, E would be for Excel, and P is for PowerPoint. Then I can tell exactly where I'm at because say Excel is in Unit 7, where these file format and the file management are found in Unit 4. So it tells me what unit and what lesson. So F4.2 is this file management portion of our curriculum. It is Unit 4 of this, and it's the second lesson in Unit 4. Then we give our file name a hint about what it's about. And in this case, it's about organizing. And I'm naming it according to the directions right here. And then last name and the first initial of your first name. So in this case, it would be Weaver, T for me. And we need to make sure that we are naming them according to that pattern so that things don't get lost, so we can see whose work it is as a glance, and that lets me help you quickly. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go back to these directions. This is what I was talking about right here. Helps me identify things. And when we come back to this new Word document, I've already named it F4.2 Organizing. And then at the top of the document, so that means we just click right there. It will automatically put us in the most upper northwest corner. Let me pull this over here. And they want us to type in organizing computer files involves being skilled in the following areas. Okay, and then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write storing files, creating directories, saving and naming files, knowing properties of files, copying, moving, and deleting files, and locating files. Okay. Now these are all nicely numbered, lettered. You do not have to do that in this assignment. Once you've got this typed, I do expect you to hit Command S to save it. And then we're going to follow our directions here. It's saved right now. If I were to go Shift Command S, you can see that it is saved as a Word document. Here's your file format right down here. Okay, Word document has the extension .docx. Okay, what they're asking us to do now is to make a second copy of this document, but put it in the rich text format. And how in the world would we do that? It says right here, we would press Shift Command S, which opens the Save dialog box. We don't have to rename the document itself. We need to make sure it's still going to BIM intro. But right down here in File Format, if we open this up, we'll see that there is an option for Rich Text Format. So I'm going to click on that. And you see how the extension changes. So I'll say Save. And it saves this document as an RTF. Now we come down here and they want us to save it one more time as a PDF. So we do the same thing. Over here we hit Shift Command S, which brings up that dialog box. And everything is going to stay the same except for the file format, which we're going to select PDF. PDF is used a lot in business because not everybody has the same version, and PDF is something that's easy for people to look at no matter what setup they have. Now this time, instead of save, it's going to say export, and that's fine. We're just going to export it into this little folder here. Okay, so now we have 3 versions of this folder, and we are down at the end of our instructions. So We know that we have saved it. Now we need to close this document by hitting Command W. And then we're going to come in here and upload it to Google Classroom. So we would back out of the instructions and we would say View Assignment. And in your view of this as a student, you will have the option to go in and say upload a file. First of all, you want to hit create or add, and then it'll say upload will be one of your options, and then you choose file. And when you do that, a finder looking box will come up, and you can choose your documents in your intro folder, and you can pick all three of those to select. I can pick the first one and just press my command button down, and everything I pick after that will be selected. Once again, I can click the first one, and while holding down the command button, it lets me select which ones I want. And then I can say open, and they will all go attached to this assignment together. Once that happens, you'll need to turn it in, and you will be good to go for this lesson. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.